The scent of grilled meat hung heavy in the air, mixing with the sticky warmth of an August afternoon. I could feel the dampness clinging to my shirt, sweat gathering at my collar. Some of it was from the heat, yes, but most of it came from the storm I knew was about to break. I set my house keys I had bought with my own blood and sweat down on the picnic table. A quiet gesture, a statement. The metal clinked louder than it should have, and in that instant, the conversations around me faltered. Then it came, my mother's voice, sharp as a whip, slicing through the lazy hum of family chatter. "You stole your brother's future, Adrian." The table went silent. Forks froze mid. A cousin's laugh died in his throat. Everyone turned to me as if I'd been caught red-handed, blood dripping from a crime I never committed. I didn't flinch. Instead, I reached for my beer, took a long sip and thought to myself, here it comes. I left home when I was 16, not because I wanted freedom, not because I had a grand plan, but because staying felt like drowning slowly in a tank I didn't belong in. My parents, Victor and Eleanor, had one vision, one golden child, one heir to all their love and resources. My older brother, Marcus. Marcus got the car when he turned 18. Marcus got tuition paid in full. Marcus got a downtown apartment furnished by our parents. A safety net thicker than a mattress. Me. I got shift schedules, night after night flipping burgers at the corner grill, stocking shelves at dawn before school, hustling in between to keep the lights on. Vacations, birthdays, forgotten. A missed shift meant rent unpaid, food skipped, survival threatened, but I endured. I scraped. I saved every dime I could. I learned what it meant to rely on no one but myself. By 24, after years of sacrifices, I had something no one ever expected of me. A mortgage approval in my name, a home, my own roof, my own key, my own freedom, and in my parents' eyes, that was Marcus's stolen destiny. That day, the barbecue wasn't the betrayal. No, it was just the spark, the opening act of the storm. My mother's words burned, but I stayed quiet, because I knew silence had more power than 1,000 defenses. But the real betrayal came later. A week passed before the knock at my door. A man in a suit stood there, expression flat, holding a manila envelope. "Adrian Cole," he asked. I nodded. "Consider yourself served." The words carried more weight than the paper he handed me. Inside, a summons, plaintiffs, my own parents. The accusation, intentional interference in the economic opportunity of their son Marcus. I laughed loud, sharp, so hard the process server raised an eyebrow. My family was suing me for working too hard, for building something without them. But the more I read, the darker it became. They weren't just throwing nonsense at the wall, they were demanding damages. The number, almost identical to the amount I had scraped together for my down payment. It wasn't just about Marcus, it was about taking back what I had built, about control. That was the moment when heartbreak died and fire took its place. I didn't scream. I didn't call them. I didn't tear the papers in rage. Instead, I sat at my kitchen table, the one I built myself from clearance wood, and opened my laptop. Step 1. Call a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, but a bulldog. Someone who specialized in dismantling frivolous family claims. I found her. Naomi Cross, a woman with a reputation for treating the courtroom like a battlefield and wielding evidence like a sword. Step 2. Collect receipts. Pay stubs from every job since I was 16. Bank statements, rental agreements, scholarships, and the emails where my parents bragged about supporting Marcus through 3 dropped majors, 2 DUI bailouts, and a year living rent-free in a luxury condo. Step 3. Smile, because I realized they had dug their own grave, and I had just been handed the shovel. The day of the hearing, the courthouse smelled faintly of polish and paper. My parents arrived first, with Marcus trailing like a reluctant shadow. He didn't look at me. Couldn't my mother clutched her pearls as though starring in her own soap opera. My father puffed his chest, still believing his word was gospel. Their lawyer looked tired, worn down, as if he knew this was a paycheck job, not a fight worth winning. He stood and argued that I had diverted family resources by buying a house on my own, thereby depriving Marcus of reasonable parental support. The judge's eyebrow nearly hit the ceiling. Naomi, my lawyer, didn't waste time. She slid a stack of documents across the table. Every job I'd held since 16, every rent check signed, every scholarship earned, lined up next to Marcus's record. 3 dropped majors, 2 DUIs, thousands of dollars of parental bailouts, and a record of endless handouts. The contrast was brutal. Surgical dots. By the time Naomi rested her case, the room was heavy with silence, the kind of silence you only hear at funerals. Then the judge allowed me to speak. I stood tall, steady, and said, "Your Honor, I didn't steal my brother's future. I built mine, alone. If my parents' definition of love is draining one child to inflate another, then the only thing I'm guilty of is refusing to play along." The silence after was deafening, except for Marcus shifting uncomfortably, his chair creaking under the weight of his shame. The ruling was swift. Case dismissed with prejudice, meaning they could never drag me back into court for this again. But the real blow wasn't just legal, it was financial. The judge ordered my parents to cover my legal fees, tens of thousands, money they didn't have. That night, My phone lit up with messages. From Mum, how could you do this to your own family? From Dad, ungrateful brat. From Marcus, nothing, just silence. And honestly, his silence was louder than their accusations. Weeks later, I hosted my own barbecue. The smell of grilled meat filled the air once again. Same picnic tables, same summer warmth. But this time, I wasn't surrounded by accusation. I was surrounded by friends, people who valued effort, not entitlement. I set my house keys on the table once more, but no one screamed. No one accused. Instead, they raised a glass. And in that moment I realized I didn't need my parents' approval. They didn't need their will, didn't need their name. I had my house, my freedom, my future. And the sweetest irony, the lawsuit meant to break me had instead bankrupted the illusion they had built around Marcus. So, if you're wondering how the story ends, here it is, plain and simple. They tried to sue me for building a life. Instead, they paid for it.